You're listening to Geeks Unleashed,
a podcast that covers what's current in the world of pop culture.
I'm Mark Brassington, and I'm in London.
And I'm Jasmin in Texas.
Hello, welcome to Geeks Unleashed. This is episode 55.
If you are not already subscribed, you can find us at Geeks Unleashed everywhere, including your favorite podcast platform. Now, remember, 5-star reviews help us get found by more listeners, so please rate and review Geeks Unleashed on Apple or Podchaser.
And I'm Mark.
I'm Jasmin.
And today marks our first year anniversary since our first episode 1 year ago in June 2020, which we started at the height of lockdown. In the first episode, we reviewed Space Force Season 1 and the Joker's 80th anniversary issue from DC Comics. Since that first episode, we've become more comfortable with this podcast and sound quality hopefully has improved. We've also added some sort of new features to the show as we've gone along, such as our book club and interviewed, and we've had some guests as well. And also we've been guests ourselves on other people's platforms.
Yeah, and speaking of guests, this week, to celebrate our 1 year Podiversary, we've invited Amir and Kay from Paperbacks and Soundtracks to join us. So this is just going to be a different kind of episode, different vibe. We are just hanging out, talking about all the things we love about 2021 so far.
Yeah.
So guys, thanks for joining us, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Appreciate it.
Ciabatta Boys in the building.
Ciabatta Boys definitely here, yeah.
Absolutely.
So just for our listeners, where are you guys both based?
In Jersey. You're in Jersey. Born and bred.
Born and bred.
Yeah.
I was about to say that, man. Like,
Yeah, I was born in Hawaii.
you're born in Hawaii, and then you moved to Jersey.
He actually just told me that like the other day. That's actually funny that he just said. Like I just learned that.
That's a long trek.
How long?
Yeah.
Like, when did you move from Hawaii to Jersey then?
When I was 3.
Oh, okay.
I don't even remember anything. I was born on an army base.
Oh, wow.
I was going to say, because you don't have any kind of Hawaiian accent at all.
No, not at all. Just my namesake and for being born where I'm born.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
I was born in Stratford, New Jersey. South Jersey. Sticks in the trees are.
Yeah.
They got trees up there? What?
Oh yeah, we got farms and all that stuff in South Jersey.
Oh, man.
But I'm in North Jersey now.
Yeah, New Jersey's a different place because there's farmland, there's mountains, there's beach, there's lakes, there's shores. Like
Then there's
Jersey,
Gotham
yeah.
City.
Yeah, man, Jersey's a different place, man.
I think I have like gotten off at a station in Jersey, like while I was visiting Manhattan, but I don't think I've ever been in like Jersey proper.
Man, we're better than New York.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, your East Coast experience has to come to Jersey. We got the Sopranos. We got better pizza.
We got Boardwalk Empire.
Now listen,
Yeah.
I'm about to start a fight, but I'm not going to give you the pizza because I'm a deep dish girl. So Chicago
Oh
style.
no! Oh my God!
Man.
Oh my God! I went to Chicago a few years back for C2E2, and the big thing was try deep dish, and it's not pizza.
Yeah, it's a pie.
Yeah, it's not pizza.
It's
So-
delicious.
No, it wasn't.
It's
It was
knife
terrible.
and fork and oh man, Chicago.
Come on,
Nah.
you gotta
You gotta fold it up.
No,
Yeah.
no,
Dripping everywhere.
Yeah,
no.
That's not pizza.
I want the
That's not
pizza to weigh more than the newborn baby. Like that's the kind of pizza that I like. Yeah.
No, we could give you that. We can give you a pie the size of your head, like the size of this table. Jersey's a wild place when it comes to the pizza.
Okay,
I'm
all
obviously a London boy here. Like I'm the only one on this table that's in this virtual table that's actually here. But I'll be honest, I prefer thin base. I'm a thin base man.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
and I've got to say I love a stuffed crust. Like
Yeah.
like I'm always trying to get stuffed crust if I can.
I
So
gotta
wait,
ask,
yeah.
Okay.
what time is it in London right now?
Right now it's just 12:15, man. Like,
Wow.
So I'm up late, but don't worry.
We
I
keep
can have-
Mark up all hours of the night. Don't worry. The other night, I think we were on another podcast and it started at 3 a.m.
Oh
his
no,
time.
it was on YouTube. We done it we were on someone's YouTube,
Yeah.
and it started.
We
at 3
literally
a.m.
watched the sunrise over his shoulder over there
Yeah.
in his
Oh,
kitchen.
wow.
we started recording at 3 a.m. for me.
Dedication. I love it.
My wife wouldn't let me do it every Friday, but occasionally, so what we did was we recorded we normally record our pod every Friday and then release it on Sunday. But I said to Jasmin, there's no way I can do a midnight podcast like we normally do on a Friday and then jump on at 3 a.m. on someone's YouTube. Literally, I will be dead on Saturday.
Yeah.
So we recorded our pod on the Thursday, which was a midnight thing. And then I did work. Luckily, I had a half day for work. And then we jumped on someone's YouTube channel. But I didn't get up till midday that Saturday. For one-offs, I don't mind. But we start normally around midnight and we normally finish around 1:30. And I think, to be honest, that's all right. Like for me, I think if it starts creeping into 3 a.m., I probably need to sort my life out. But
I mean, I respect the hustle because
heck yeah, man.
We have the same thing because my schedule changes from week to week. So every now and so there's times where I come here straight from work and have to eat dinner after the show, and yeah. So.
Well, that's a bit like Jasmin. Sometimes she eats after the show because she knows how late it is for me. So if she finishes hungry, I finish tired. So but no,
congratulations doing it for a year, man.
Yeah. So we used to be like a blog, like a website. Ran for about 4 or 5 years. And then my family, I got kids and everything. And then it was just, it was just got too much in the end. So we just called it a day. And then I said to Jasmin, at the start of last year, I was like, man, we're all locked down. We're not going anywhere. Let's bring Geeks Unleashed back. But let's not. But we both agreed we didn't want to do the website again. It's a lot.
Managing 30 writers was a lot.
Well, we had at one point we had 30 writers, and it was just another job that didn't get paid. So we were like, look, let's just actually, Jasmin, me and you are the ones who loved it. So let's just make it me and you, and let's just chat. It's a lot easier to chat. I love chatting. She loves chatting. You two clearly love chatting. So let's just chat. But anyway, tell us a bit about Paperbacks and Soundtracks. I'd love to know, sort of for yourselves actually, how did yours come about? What was the inception of Paperbacks and Soundtracks?
To be honest, I was just bored. I was bored, and I enjoyed going to the comic book shops and having these random conversations with people. And I was just like, man, people need to hear these conversations. If you listen to me and Kay talk, our conversations kind of go comic book, random life stories, movies, music, it's all over the place, but it all surrounds this world of comic and music. So but before Kay joined, I was just talking to my Funko Pops on the wall. But yeah, and I just wanted to leave something behind for family members and younger kids to just be able to listen and hear my voice. My dad's a gospel singer. So, when when life takes that turn, I'll always be able to hear my dad's voice whenever I want to. So I just want to leave something cool behind.
That's awesome, man.
Whenever I move on to the next journey in life.
That's actually quite a nice thing, to say. I sometimes think that, my kids are sort of 7 and 11, and they would never have any interest in listening to this. And to be honest, we occasionally drop an F-bomb here and there. I wouldn't want them to. So,
you don't have to say anything to us about those. I had to figure out how to make a censor for us.
I think we sort of, me and Jasmin both agreed, as long as we don't go nuts on the swearing, it's all right. It's not every other word, so it's occasional usage. So,
I think I have about a page and a half of censor tags from last week. But I mean, but anyway, so we me and Kay have done before we teamed up to do the show, we did 5 or 6 interviews. So they're in the archive. You could definitely go back and hear me and Kay talking about his books and everything. And then we did an interview after I got back from having COVID and everything, and fighting to get back to all this. And a few of my cousins were like, man, you guys just got like really good chemistry. You should think about, doing it. And I'm listening to it and I'm like, man, this sounds really good, man. Like we're comfortable with each other at this point.
Yeah, it's crazy because, like I said, my introduction to paperbacks and soundtracks was I was I was writing comic books. I mean, I still do. I just haven't actively put anything out since the pandemic or anything. But I had met Amir through Instagram, and he asked if I wanted to come on the show, and I fell in love with the show, as I was doing it. And then it was last December, and it was funny because I was the episode that he was just speaking on. I was going through like a real rough patch, in my life at the time, and it is crazy that that happened to be the one that everybody thought was the perfect show. So that was perfect. That was a perfect conversation between me and him, and so when he asked, it was a no-brainer for me because I've been on it so much. So I was like, I mean, we're already family, so let's do it, man.
Pretty much.
Yeah. So at that point, I was like, I've already been on it about 5 times. I was like, you know what? I was like, your listeners should know the voice by now. So absolutely. I was like, I felt that I had something that I could add to it, and for sure. It gives me an excuse to read comics and dive into pop culture. So.
Nice. To be honest, that's like a really nice sort of, I have to say, like, man, like, it's quite a nice touching story how you guys got together, like your reasoning, like, of leaving a legacy and just like, obviously, like you say, you're already family, you've built up a nice bond, and it's a nice touching thing to do. Like, actually quite a nice little origin story of paperbacks and soundtracks. Like,
like it's crazy because there was a time where I asked Amir to take a book for me to get signed at a comic convention. I wasn't able to go. And I was like, hey man, can you get this book signed for me? So, there was like little things, like bits and pieces that I was like, all right, like this guy's like a cool guy. So,
Well, I try.
and how did you both like sort of, I mean, get into comics? Like, how did you what was where was that first day where someone gave you a comic to read?
So to speak, comic origin story.
Yeah.
I always say that I didn't find comics. I think comic books found me. Yeah. I was to be honest, I was watching Walking Dead, and then one time after Walking Dead, Comic Book Men came on. And it just so happened to be the episode where they were talking about Secret Wars. And, as a kid, I used to collect the toys and the action figures, watch the cartoons like Spider-Man and X-Men. So they talked about Secret Wars, and they specifically talked about Secret Wars 8. So, and that was the origin of the black suit. And I never knew that's where that came from. And so Secret Wars was my real introduction, and then hitting flea markets and finding dollar books, and that's how I got into it and fell in love with it.
What about you, Amir?
For me, you probably hear his name all the time, but I call him Big Bro James. So we were living together at the time, and he took a trip to a comic book store that Kay goes to as well. And he came out with like 4 bags of comics.
Oh, wow.
I was just looking at him like, what the heck? And I didn't even go in the store with him, right? So, because in my head, I'm like, brothers don't really read comics, do they? Like, what I'm saying? Like, okay. So, but as a kid, I loved action figures. Like, action figures were my thing. Like, I have boxes of them in this side of the room over here. So action figures, cartoons, all that stuff was my thing. But one weekend, James went to his girl's house and fiance now. But he took a trip down there for the weekend, and all these books were just on the coffee table. I mean, like stacks. And I'm like, man, these books gotta go. They're killing my style right now. I got the house to myself. So, but plans fell through. So I picked up one of the books And it was a story Brian Michael Bendis was writing. It was an Iron Man story, but it wasn't Invincible Iron Man. I can't remember. It was like one where he was like going on a journey to get some info about his mom or something like that. So, I read the first one. I read the second one. Read the third one. By the time James came back, I'm like, yo, do you know that Black Panther's coming out? And it's being written by Ta-Nehisi Coates and Brian Stelfree's doing the artwork and stuff. And he's like, oh, really? So we went to the store, and those are the first two books that I bought, and I haven't stopped since.
I love it.
And that was like, 5 years ago?
Yeah, I was about to say, Brian Michael Bendis thing was about 5-ish years ago.
Yeah.
I love Ta-Nehisi Coates' run on Black Panther. It's one of the few Marvel books that I actually pick up.
Okay. All right, fair enough. I like the initial, like the beginning, like the first, I guess, volume that he did. Yeah. But the Galaxy situation, I would have enjoyed that better if it was just like a story arc, like 6 issues, and then we keep it moving.
Yeah, I can see that. It
kind of stretched out too long for me. But I enjoyed what he was doing and expanding the universe. Like, I bought everything that he was a part of in Black Panther stuff. So,
are you looking forward to the Black Panther coming out in August?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I really like his name just escaping me right now.
John Ridley.
Yeah, I really enjoy his writing. I like what he's doing on the Future State Batman stuff and the Second Son. So I'm very interested seeing what he does with this new Black Panther run.
No, I'm gonna grab that as well. Like, since you guys have been doing podcasting and stuff, is there anything like you've learned that from podcasting that you know, because sometimes podcasting is like with me and Jasmin, it's like figuring it out as you're going along. Like, is there anything you've kind of learned that you've
the first thing I would say is make sure you hit that save button after every segment. Okay? Because before K got here, I learned all these lessons on my own. Before K got here, I had it locked in. But I have lost complete episodes.
Oh my God, that's my biggest fear.
Always save.
I remember once Jasmin texted me going, I've got a problem with the podcast, but luckily she saved the file. I was like, no. I was like, I think there was a moment with one episode, but but you guys on your latest episode said that it's sort of your last episode of the season. I just wondered, how long's your break? Like, when are you coming back?
Until we figure out this video thing. Because a lot of people want to see our beautiful faces for some reason. So a lot of people have been wondering, like, when we're going to put some video up on, with YouTube and everything. And since I do most of the editing, I need to really figure it out and do it the right way. Yeah. I don't want to make my guy look bad.
He said 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Like, I got a vacation coming up. He's got a vacation coming up. I mean, we've done it like almost 6 months straight.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
So it's time to just let it breathe a little bit.
Yeah, take a little break.
Yeah, give it a little break. And I mean, we're going to do an event in July where we'll be doing an episode from. So it's not like that long of a break. Yeah. But give it time to breathe a little bit.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Good.
And we got some t-shirts and hoodies and stuff that we're trying to sell.
Yeah.
I saw that shirt on the back of your chair there.
Yeah. So we got some stuff so we can make some money.
Are you guys going to be hitting up New York Comic Con since they said that they're doing full convention?
Yeah, I'm not doing it. My thing is I haven't caught COVID. I don't want to. I haven't had as much as a symptom, so I want to keep that streak going.
Hey man, I feel that.
I don't know if I could do it, and I know how I know you guys listen to the show and you guys hear the marching orders, so that's why the marching orders. That's why the marching orders are specifically because of people at New York Comic Con. So.
Yeah, well, like my local comic shop, they bought out a whole theater to give out tickets for Black Widow, And
wow.
they were like, yeah, just stop by the comic shop and come pick up your free Black Widow tickets. And like, I was on my way to the grocery store and I was like, I could swing by and get me some free tickets. But
Right.
if you bought out the whole theater, that means you're expecting to fill up this whole theater. And I'm not
Yeah.
really down for being elbow to elbow with some weirdo
Right.
comic book people. Because don't get me wrong, like, you run into nice people at the comic shop, but
Oh, yeah.
most of the people you run into the comic shop fall into the I really don't want to hang out with you any other time in my life category.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I agree with that.
That's true.
And it's not a cleanly business, man. You know, like
Oh, man.
I've been at cons where the person in front of me just smells like 3 butt cheeks, you know, stacked up together, you know. So, you know, they're not wearing you know, lavender Old Spice. So, you know, I can't rock.
They're
with
not
it.
wearing anything, not even like fresh game, like
At
nothing.
all.
Yeah, I don't understand how people, you know,
They
go
go all
outside of the
natural.
house like that.
Oh, see,
Right.
that's because they weren't raised right. Let me just put it that way.
Yeah, like you just woke up and just said, "Oh, I'm gonna go like this."
Nope,
Yeah.
it couldn't be me. It could
Yeah.
not be me.
Yeah, it couldn't be me. Couldn't be
So
me.
other than YouTube, like coming, you know, you want to come back with some video and some audio.
Yeah.
Is there anything exciting coming up other than that for Paperbacks and Soundtracks? You got anything on the horizon that you've got planned, or
Man.
if you want to share, that is, we may
Yeah.
have some.
Listen, we be sliding all kinds of DMs
uh,
trying to get interviews from people,
Mm.
and they're not really reaching back yet. So, you know, we're working on it. We're
Yeah,
definitely
yeah.
working on it. So hopefully
Yeah.
once they start seeing some video, you know, maybe they'll take us a little more serious.
Yeah, the event that we're doing in July is like a
Yeah, that's
big
a big
hip hop
one.
event. So
Mhm.
it's gonna be more on, I guess, the soundtrack side of Paperbacks and Soundtracks, but
Which we
yeah,
love.
yeah, which we absolutely love. But yeah, I can say that there is a lot of cool things in the works. We have a lot of different things that we want to do, and you know,
Maybe that might not be on the show side.
yeah,
Yeah.
But
that's what we'll say.
Yeah. But we got
All
some
right,
cool
badass.
other cool stuff.
Yeah,
But to answer your Comic-Con question,
Yeah.
I am not going.
Okay,
I
I don't blame
still
you. I'm
have-
not gonna.
Yeah,
I have
and it's
crowd
also-
anxiety. I'm
Yeah.
not ready for that yet after my COVID experience.
I'll
Yeah,
go to a
and then-
restaurant. I will go to like the bookstore. I go to the comic shop,
Yeah.
but like I'm not ready to be in a crowd with thousands of people. Like I would love to go to like games, basketball games, football games, or something. But like
Absolutely.
I'm not there yet. So I'm not going
Yeah.
to my convention. They have a convention here in Houston.
Yeah.
That's pretty big every year. But it's in July, like mid-July, and I was like, no,
Yeah.
pass.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's to the point that I mean I've been given opportunities for different cons and stuff on you know my comic book writing side, and I've said no to all of them. So
Yeah.
so I just don't trust being in a enclosed space. I'm all for like an outside place, but I definitely have anxiety towards that.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is too with the Jacob Javits Center is that you know it was a COVID hospital, so
I did
I
not
don't really
know
trust
that.
that.
Yep.
Yeah, it was
Yep.
it was a COVID hospital,
And
in
it
the
gets
thick of
hot
the
as hell in
pandemic.
there, man, with all that glass.
Listen,
Yeah.
Like
I
when you're in
got
the
sick
main
2
mezzanine.
years ago. I got sick 2 years ago going to New York Comic Con. Got comic crud.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a
con
con
crud.
crud,
Jeez,
exactly.
Yeah,
Con crud.
Concrud. That's a real
I-
thing. That's COVID before COVID. So
Oh yeah, like
It
I
hit you
went
quick.
actually. I had a press pass for Geeks Unleashed back when we had a website. So I think I went
Nice.
to New York Comic Con in 2014. So it's been
Okay.
a while, but like I was not prepared for 4 days of that.
It's
And by
work.
Sunday, I was like, if one more person touches me, I swear to God, somebody's gonna arrest my ass today because I am
Absolutely.
over it.
I never had a press pass at the time, you know, when I started the show. But I was handing out flyers and
Yeah.
doing all that politicking.
Yeah, you
trying
got
to get
to, right?
interviews and stuff. And by day 2, I was like, I'm sick.
Yeah.
How? So,
Yeah.
and it took me 6 months to get back to Paperbacks
man.
and Soundtracks. So, yeah, I'm not leaving my baby no more.
Yeah, we love doing this too. Like, you know, even there was a thing earlier in the year where it was like something happened outside the podcast, but I made sure I still did it. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, you know, I was sort of on the fence. I was like, I was like, but no, I don't want to miss a week. I was like, I'm going to make myself do it. And actually, do you know what? Like, even though there was stuff going on outside the show that was, emotional sort of thing. I was like, actually, when I did the podcast with Jasmin, I was like, actually, I needed this, like, to kind of take my mind off of what else is going on. Like, I enjoy doing this. And so, I don't know, obviously you guys must feel the same, like it's kind of nice little bubble doing the podcast. So
I feel like it's like therapy of sorts, man.
Yeah, we had a nice little therapy session before our last episode.
Yeah, you guys wouldn't be able to tell that we were both having a bad day that day.
Yeah.
So I think that's what like I've been running that episode back and listening to it. Like I must have listened to it at least like 2 or 3 times already because it was that good. And not that I like to toot our own horn or anything. I think we have a great show.
Hey, you have to.
Yeah, but that one I've gone back to and listened to a couple of times and had to laugh at certain things. So,
yeah. But that's what good
things.
family does, right? Like that's how they make you feel. They always lift you up.
Man, to your horn, man. Like I've been saying to Jasmin for ages, I enjoy both like your show. I love listening to Paperbacks and Soundtracks, and I keep saying to Jasmin, I love the style of Paperbacks. I love how it's kind of a little bit similar to ours in terms of 3 sort of segments, like news, comics, and music. We don't do this. We don't do that sort of format, but we have 3 things. But I said, but I love how they break it up, and it's kind of, I said, and I love how they break it up with little music in between each segment as well. I said, it feels like, I said, whenever I put it on, I feel like I'm just listening to a radio show. Like I said, it always sounds really professional to me. Like, and I enjoy listening to it. And you can never tell when you're listening if you've had a bad day or not. Like you guys sound like you're having a laugh and enjoying yourself.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And so, sharing similar thoughts that I have on comics as well, and and I love the reads of the week segment as well. I love that you actually pick up back issues and things like that. So I think that's pretty cool too. So,
that was the thing when he pitched the idea of me coming on the show. I told him, I was like, I don't really have a pull anymore. There's not anything that I'm really interested on the new side so much. Aside from like the Milestone stuff that's coming out now, but I was like, I'm gonna read these old books, man. I hope you don't mind. And he was like, no, it's worth it. Yeah. He kind of let me fly on that. So that's why I like to just pick up the old stuff, man. It's a lot easier.
You picked up a Daredevil issue in the last one, wasn't it? Like
issue 191. Roulette, which is one of my favorite Frank Miller stories.
Because I think it's a good balance, like mixing with the old and the new, the indie with the major stuff. So to give everybody a balanced, plate of food when it comes to the comedy stuff.
So like it's been good to get a bit of an intro into the show, and but when we were sort of creating this idea of this 1 hour, this 1 year podcast, I thought actually I said to Jasmin, it'd be nice to have a bit of a reflection on so far the midway point of 2021. Crazy that we're already like halfway through June, and just sort of going around the virtual table would be cool just to go through what's been our favorite things of the year. And like Amir, what's your favorite TV show this year so far?
I'm gonna have to say Falcon and Winter Soldier, man. That pulled on the heartstrings quite a few times, man. And what was crazy is I actually picked up Truth, Red, White, and Black.
I thought about picking that up.
Listen, I picked it up like 3 months before the show, and I got the whole set for $35.
Oh man.
Yeah, you'll be so lucky to find that for $35 now. But it was an awesome story, and I love that they included him in there, in the TV show. But it was just amazing seeing Sam Wilson, transitioning to Captain America. Because I read Nick Spencer's run, and that was amazing, man. So I was very pleased with that series. It was like a 6-hour movie.
Yeah.
Everything, the comedy, the action, the drama, everything that you needed. It was really good.
I've been surprised that Marvel can actually kind of handle the nuance as well as they have been handling it, especially with stuff like Falcon and Winter Soldier. Because when they first talked about the premise of that show, I was like, I don't know that I trust you guys to go this route.
Right.
Yeah. But I thought they handled that pretty well.
Yeah. Bringing Isaiah Bradley. That was awesome. That was awesome.
No, yeah, I agree with you. I really enjoyed that show. I thought it was really well done, and I'm glad that they're not making the mistake like with Netflix, dropping a 13 episode show. I like the fact that it's 6 episodes, got no filler, and it's just a brilliant show and I'm kind of on board with this weekly format, like dropping 1 episode a week. So that way,
I like it too.
So that way, it's not like a race to the finish. It's actually creates a little bit of buzz week in, week out. And I'm kind of more like, I don't mind binging when it's old, but I actually quite like the buzz, and the chit chat. Like we're doing now, sort of chatting about it and kind of like. I guess at the moment I'm not in an office every day, but if I was, you can imagine. It always makes me think of Lost. And I don't know if you guys watch Lost, but like when Lost was out every week, I literally would go to work the next day and everyone like, do you see Lost last night? Do you see Lost last night? Like, and everyone's like,
or Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones as well. Yeah, Game of Thrones is exactly the same. Like the amount of times like I'd be in the office, did you see Game of Thrones last night? What do you think's gonna happen? Blah blah blah. And it was like, and I enjoyed that buzz of Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and I enjoyed that show, and I haven't read The Truth yet, but
it's good read. I will say the artwork is not that good. It's not that good, but the story is really good. And that weekly, episode dropping, it helps us out. People that create, content and podcasts. It's something to talk about every week. On that side of things.
I do think.
What about an honorable mention for TV?
Well, Mandalorian for me. If Falcon and Winter Soldier didn't come out, Mandalorian would have been
number 1.
Spot. Yeah.
Oh man, I forgot about Mandalorian. Wow. What a year.
Right. What a year, yeah, man.
Yeah.
Did you love it at the end? Did you love it at the end when Luke showed up?
That was amazing. Did we talk about that?
Yeah, I think we did it.
That was amazing. That was amazing.
Because
man.
I remember the whole day I was ducking social media of not getting it spoiled. Yeah. And the whole time that I did check social media, they were like, "Oh no!" People were like, "I can't believe they did that." And I thought they killed. I thought they killed Gorgu.
Oh my god!
Or Baby Yoda. Baby Yoda be nasty. So I thought they killed Baby Yoda. I was like, nah, they can't kill my nephew, man.
I'm not a fan of the Grogu name. I've got to be honest. I prefer the Baby Yoda thing.
Yeah, I prefer
Baby Yoda is a lot more gangster.
Yeah, you know what's funny? It's like I bought a pop at 7-Eleven actually, and it says Gorgu, aka Baby Yoda. So I see they keep putting the AKA. Like, just call him Baby Yoda.
Right.
Yeah.
We already know.
They start selling pops at 7-Eleven.
They do. They got exclusives.
Wow.
They got exclusives. Yeah, and the one I have is it's Boba Fett. Well, Mandalorian.
Yeah.
And he's holding like the pod as he's like flying.
Wow.
It's pretty sick. Yeah.
Oh well, yeah.
That's dope.
Yeah. It's not mine, but yeah, I gotta get a picture of that. I haven't seen it.
Yeah, I gotta see it.
I've got. It's a shame. I've got a Baby Yoda, like a huge doll upstairs, like a not a doll, but like
the plush.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a bit. It's like a big head, sort of.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Bigger than my head. So.
See, I had bought a plush for my fiance, but my dog is always, every time he sees it, always goes wild and wants to tear it up.
Oh no, you're worrying
trouble.
me.
That's trouble, man.
Force. He's feeling the force.
Yeah.
He's feeling it, man.
All right, Kay, what do you got as your best show of 2021 so far?
So far, I'm a big wrestling guy, so I'm really loving Young Rock. I know the season just ended recently. I think maybe like a couple weeks ago. Mm-hmm. So on ABC, they're doing a show about The Rock's life, but it's kind of like funny. So it's kind of like they're going back to when he was in college and when he was a kid. So they're talking about like, his dad, Rocky Johnson. They're just going through his life. And it's funny because in the show, he's he's like running for president, and there was always kind of the running joke that's been going on for a while that The Rock is going to run for president of the United States. So they played it off really well. It's a really good show.
Yeah.
It just I got Amir watching it. So
yeah, I binged that bad boy.
Yeah.
So I've heard of it. I've not watched it, but making me curious.
It's really good.
Yeah, no, it's really good. It's really funny, and
it's only like a half hour, right?
Yeah, it's half-hour episodes. I want to say it's maybe like 7 or 8 episodes.
Yeah, something like that.
Is it the first season this year? Or is...
Yeah, and it just recently got renewed. So they haven't got to the WWE part yet. So we're getting there. So I would think that's maybe like the next episode, next season, probably.
Yeah. Who doesn't love The Rock,
Yeah.
Black Adam. Yeah. No, he's Black Adam right now.
Yeah.
He's in character.
I grew up during the Attitude Era, so I had Rock on my TV every week. So
yeah.
I tell people that I was raised by Stone Cold and The Rock. So.
It shows all the censoring I gotta do.
Good thing you weren't raised by The Undertaker.
No.
Really I
have a funny thing with it. I'm not like a big Undertaker fan, but
really?
there's a like a fan comic that I want to do. It's just because it's just outrageously dumb. So I'll tell you guys the idea. I had this because you know how he says "rest in peace," so I wanted to.
Wait, how does he say it again?
He says like "rest in peace." Rest in peace. He's like, does the whole thing with the thing across his throat. So I wanted to make Undertaker a blood. So instead of saying "rest in peace," I wanted to say "rest in Pyru." But I don't know.
That's the Jersey side coming out.
I feel like WWE will sue me for that.
And what about honorable mention from you? Yeah, go on.
My honorable mention, I'm gonna say, I'm gonna go really left. I'm gonna say Grey's Anatomy.
I've watched it. I've watched all of Grey's. Like, I'll be honest, this season I haven't enjoyed, but like.
Oh really? This is the season that I kind of got into. It's funny because this is my fiance's show, so for the last few years of our relationship, I've kind of made fun of her for watching the show. So this was the first season that I actually sat down. I was like, let me give this a chance. Let me see what it is that she loves about the show. It's a really good show.
So have you not watched it from the beginning? Have you just come in now?
I have. I've gone back.
You have gone back.
But man, now you're gonna get me in trouble because I only saw like the first 3 episodes. I still gotta catch up.
Grey's Anatomy is almost in college at this point. Like it's almost old enough to be graduating from high school and in college.
I've watched half of the first episode.
Yeah, so
I work in a hospital, so it's like.
Right. Yeah.
This is my life every day.
I can't do that, and that's why I don't think I enjoyed this season because it was just literally all about COVID, and I was like, "Fuck, man, I can't do this. I can't." Yeah. I did watch it all, but I was like, "I'm living in this shit. I'd rather just like," and that's why there's a lot of. I do watch a lot of procedural type shows, but I dropped them all because they all brought COVID in. And I was like, nah, man. I was like, I'm at home. I'm not allowed to go see people. When I go to the shop, I have to wear a mask. I was like, I don't want to sit down in my leisure time and then watch it on the TV. Like, I was Grey's was the only show I kept going. Because me and my wife do watch that together, and but I did keep saying to her, I really hate this week in week the bloody COVID thing. It's getting on my nerves. Like,
I hear you.
But I did the one thing I did like about this season though was when Meredith was sort of on, I think she was like in a coma, I think, and she kept flashing to the beach, and they kept bringing back characters that were dead, including Derek, which I thought was really cool,
was like the love of her life.
I did like that they brought her sister Lexi in, and when I read about it, was actually Lexi, the actress who plays Lexi, actually wasn't there. And I did say to my wife, I don't think she's there. Like I said, they filmed it really well, but I don't think she's there. Actually, she wasn't. She was in Vancouver. So she,
so
she had to film her scenes on a green screen, and they had to link them together. And the reason I said I thought they weren't together, because when they showed Mark and Lexi dance on the beach from a distance, I said they've done that deliberately, like because it's not her. And yeah, I read about it, but I thought other than that, I did think it was done really nicely how they kept bringing back all these characters, which I thought was a nice touch. And the producers did say it was to give everyone, it's been a shit year, to give everyone a little bit of sort of happiness. So
absolutely.
I thought, and every time I saw someone come back, even I was a little bit like, yeah, man, they brought back a sort of a classic character. So
well, after 35 years on TV, you got to give the people what they want.
35
I thought they were gonna kill her off by the end, the way it was going.
I would have been happy with that, like if they'd have killed Meredith off. No, like I seriously would. No, because I feel like the show, it needs to come to an end, Grace. Now it's going on too long. So
that's how I feel about Walking Dead.
Yeah, I feel like this season it was pitched as it being the finale, the last season, but now I think they're gonna keep it going. I'm a Dr. Avery guy, so the fact that he's leaving the show, it's a little.
Yeah, and I didn't realize because on his last episode, when they showed the scenes of him, like they did flashbacks to when he came in, I was like, bloody hell, I didn't realize he'd even been in it that long. Like, he's been in it about 10 years. So, yeah, it was a bit disappointing when he left. So, but no, man. So, it's a good honorable mention, though. I have to jump on you, to support you for that. But like I said, I didn't like the COVID bits, but I liked the beach scenes. So, but Jasmin, go on then. What was your favorite show of 2021 so far?
A show that none of you have watched. It is an anime called Fruits Basket.
It's a lie. I watched the pilot earlier today.
Did you really?
Yeah. I watched it to prepare for this.
What's it called again?
Fruits Basket. So it has the stupidest description when you look at it, either on Funimation or Crunchyroll. And it basically, they say that it's a show about people of the opposite sex. Like if you hug each other, then they turn into an animal, right?
Oh.
And that's the description. And so like I had been avoiding the show for a long time. And finally I was like, oh, fuck it. Like it keeps popping up on my you might like. So finally I watched it. It is nothing like that. Okay, sure. Like there's a family of people and basically they are the animals of the zodiac. And so if they are hugged by the opposite sex, they turn into their zodiac animal. It's not permanent. It just happens for a little bit or whatever. But the point of the show is that a regular human girl kind of falls in love with one of the zodiac members, but falls in love with the member of the zodiac that is the most chastised and that everyone kind of hates.
Which one's
must be a Sagittarius?
I thought it would be a Leo, man.
I'm just saying, man. For some reason, they love to hate me.
It is the cat, which technically the cat is not a zodiac member. It's the 13th. In the series, there's a whole like lore that they built around it. But the point is like this family is cursed, and so this girl falls in love with this guy, and she wants to break the curse, and like it's actually really heartwarming and really sweet. It's got all of this family dynamic, family drama. It deals with grief. It deals with loneliness. It deals with people like kind of coming into their own. So it's like a coming of age story because they're all in high school, but at the same time there are adults that are part of this family that are really fucked up and they do really fucked up things to these kids. So it has everything. It's funny, it's got the drama, it's sad. And it makes me so mad every time I see the description because it's like this does not do the show justice. Like people probably pass this over because they're like, that sounds really stupid. But it's my favorite. So it's
I hate to say
third and final season that is airing right now.
It does sound kind of stupid.
It sounds really stupid. Yeah,
I wasn't going to say it.
It does. I mean,
I did start watching Yosuke.
Yasuki. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Okay, Yasuki. Okay,
yeah.
Pronounced it all wrong.
My bad.
Well, no. So the thing is, like, when COVID first started, I got really bored, and I said to myself, like, I'm gonna start watching anime because a lot of the people that I like am in circles with watch anime. So I was like, fine, I'll give anime a shot. So I started watching anime, and I live in Texas, and most of the people that I work with, a lot of them speak Spanish. So I hear Spanish all the time.
Yeah.
So when I stopped working because of COVID and everybody's working from home, I stopped hearing Spanish, and then I started watching Japanese stuff. And so all I heard all the time was Japanese, and I was like, well, fuck it, I already paid for a Rosetta Stone subscription last year just on shits and giggles. Like, I'm gonna learn Japanese. So I've spent the past year and some change, like learning Japanese and getting into all of this kind of stuff. So that's kind of where that started.
Can you actually speak it?
Not fluently, not at all, but like I'm getting much better now than I was before. And so now when I watch anime, I will translate it myself. No, I don't know any bad words. I try. I guess I keep it PG because Rosetta Stone doesn't teach me that.
I'm actually going to Texas next week.
What part?
Yeah, she lives in McAllen.
Okay,
so South Texas.
Yeah, way south.
Yeah, way south.
Oh yeah. Oh man, tacos. The tacos are so good down there.
Yes.
I'm telling you.
Yes, the tacos are very good. Street tacos.
But beware, because it is hot as hell.
I know. I've been getting the updates.
Oh yeah, it's
he went to Texas like a couple months ago. Actually, he came back a lot darker.
Yeah, I was only in the sun for like 20 minutes.
I was like, yo, you got that Gulf of Mexico sun.
Listen, I don't know what kind of sun they got over
different.
there.
It's very different down here. Although I'll say, like, I went to so I grew born and raised in Houston. I lived in LA for a little bit, moved back home. But it's humid here. It's very, very humid and hot here. But I went to Singapore and I have never experienced humidity the way that they have it over there in Southeast Asia. I was like, it was not as hot as it is here, but the humidity was just like, I was literally walking around and like I put on a shirt in the morning and 10 minutes that it took me to walk to the train station, my shirt is soaking wet. It's a totally different color than when I left the hotel. I was like, I look like a damn wet dog walking these streets. I don't even know how, and nobody else was sweating except like me. And I was like, how do you do this? Tell me your secrets.
They probably looked at you, they're like, tourist.
Yeah, exactly.
I thought that a couple of years ago. I was in Las Vegas in August, and I was like,
Vegas.
I was walking down the strip, and I was like, this is just nuts. Like,
that's a nasty.
I walked past this thing
egg on the street. Yeah.
Yes.
I know you probably could have done. I walked past this thing where it had a little bit of water. They deliberately had these sprays where it was flicking out little bits of water, and I was like, oh man, I can't move. I was like, this water's so good.
that breeze is like fire.
Yeah, it's like walking in an oven. Oh god, Vegas in the summer sucks.
The
heat is so bad it comes up through the soles of your shoes, man. It's terrible.
So Jasmin, what was your honorable mention of TV shows?
Honorable mention. This was a hard fought battle, but Fruits Basket edged it out. But Castlevania, second favorite show of the year so far.
I heard of that.
Castlevania is fantastic. It was the fourth and final season this year. And I made Mark go back and watch the first 3 seasons, which we kind of reviewed February, I think, of this year. But oh man, the writing was fantastic. The characters were great, and the women especially were written so well, and they were so badass and like stable and able to stand on their own, as opposed to being in the main like male character shadow.
Right.
It was just a fantastic series, and it had really good villains, which I think is a lot of people kind of overlook when they're looking at TV shows, because everybody loves a good hero, but I really, really love a good villain. And Castlevania, from the first season all the way up to this fourth and final season, the villains have been phenomenal in the series, and they're the ones that kind of carry everything. So it's been great to watch, and they wrapped everything up so well. I was so satisfied by the end. Like, there was not a point where it was just like, damn, I really wish they had revisited this, or that I really wish they had done better with this. Like, by the final episode, I was like, okay, fourth and final.
I did say though,
like,
one thing, like when that show ended, I did say, there's one thing I'd love is to see more of I forget her name, you know, the two that got together and had the baby, that forget their name at the end, but she was pregnant.
Sifa and Trevor?
Yeah. And I was like, then they have announced a spin-off.
Yeah. With their son.
That's what I said. I watched it, and the first season of Castlevania, I'll be honest, I know Jasmin would disagree, but I thought it was fairly rubbish.
That's because you're wrong.
It still was rubbish. And but season 2 was good. Season 3 was much better, and season 4 actually was really good. I did enjoy that. Yeah. I think the problem with season 1, it was very rushed. They basically tried to just ram a load of stuff in like 4 episodes or something. but then they did, each season got slightly longer, like 8 or 10 episodes, and they had more time to flush it out. But when the season ended, the final season ended, I did say I'd love to see more of those characters, and they did announce a spin-off the other day of that, and I thought, okay, cool, yeah, I'd watch that. So I'd be happy to see less of the whole Dracula stuff. So yeah, so you guys obviously not watched it, but yeah, I would, I'd recommend watching it. So.
Yeah, sorry.
No, it's fine. That's fine.
I didn't do our homework.
No. I've not watched Young Rock yet, so I'd like to jump on that. But no, my favorite show of the year, I was struggling a little bit because I think there has been some good shows out here, like you say, Falcon the Winter Soldier, The Mandalorian. But actually, I decided in the end to go with WandaVision. WandaVision for me was the first of the Marvel shows that came out, and I love the fact that they took risks with that show. It's a very brave creative team to jump in with 2 or 3 episodes where you've got no idea what the hell is going on. And like the first 2 episodes, okay, not everybody loved them. I know, like even me and Jasmin were a bit like, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Like, but actually when you watch it all to completion, it makes you actually really appreciate those first 2 or 3 episodes. And I love the fact that they thought, no, we're going to build these first 2 episodes like a 1940s to 60s sitcom. And you actually, I remember watching those kind of sitcoms as a kid. Like, I mean, I wasn't from the 60s, but they were repeated on TV. Like, and I remember like my mum used to watch Bewitched and things like that.
Loved Bewitched.
My dad was a Nick at Night guy. So I used to see all those shows.
Yeah, so I thought I love that whole premise of bringing back that and making it modern, but then seeing the journey. And actually, somebody said to me the other day, which made me appreciate the show even more, was actually WandaVision is about a grieving widow and her journey to acceptance of her loss of her partner. And I was like, wow, I never really thought about it. Like, actually that being her journey. And I just was like, wow, actually, that's kind of made me look at WandaVision slightly differently. I'd never really considered that being the journey of a grieving widow. And I know Vision is brought back at the end because it's comic books, but, that was her journey, though, to go through that grief. And and that last and final episode, though, that huge battle was just so good. Like,
amazing.
Now I'm really stoked for Doctor Strange 2, and I think these shows though, like Falcon and Winter Soldier and like WandaVision, and hopefully Loki will do the same, gets you even more pumped for the films. I think it's good to see. I think it's going to be that you can. I've not watched the second episode of Loki yet, so I don't know if I'm going to change my mind. But I enjoyed the first episode.
I fell asleep to the second one.
Oh, okay.
Oh man!
And I didn't enjoy the first either.
It's just weird because, like you said, WandaVision. Like it was like a little slow in the beginning. But there were so many like small details that you really had to pay attention to in those like first 2 to 3 episodes that just made everything at the end just amazing. And I mean, even me and Kay, we didn't think like Marvel was gonna be able to top that with Falcon and Winter Soldier, but they just keep going. So we're hoping that Loki can follow up. So we'll see.
So do you think that WandaVision would have been as well received if it had come out in the right order, which would have been after Falcon and Winter Soldier?
No, I don't think so. I
was literally at a bar the other day and having this discussion with some people, and they were like, yeah, it would have. And I was like, I don't think it would have. Like it was too different. So. It was too weird. It was way out of left field. They took a chance and it worked and they got lucky. Yeah. But if Marvel had come out with Marvel typical content first, I don't think WandaVision would have been.
No, I think if they would have came out with Falcon Winter Soldier first, it would have just blew everything out the water. So I think it was good that they kind of gave us the show that took chances. The show that took a lot of chances. Yeah. Then they gave you something that they knew was going to be good. And then now they're kind of doing the same thing kind of with Loki, but I feel like this one they're kind of like, this is the probably the corny one out of the bunch, I would say, so far. I would say I feel like this one's like the redheaded stepchild kind of.
Hopefully though, I mean, I've not seen the second episode to make my opinion.
Marvel doesn't disappoint that much.
No,
You know what
I
I'm
would.
saying?
That's true. Yeah, Marvel generally does.
Well, I mean,
Like-
not since Thor: The Dark World, but you know.
I wasn't gonna say it
Yeah.
because my cousins get on me every week when we talk trash about Thor.
It's
And I
terrible.
wasn't gonna say it.
Terrible.
But-
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
those-
first
those-
Thor was
apparently I
terrible.
got
The
beat.
second Thor was worse. And by the
Oh,
time
yeah.
the third one came out, I
Yeah.
was like, I don't know, man. You've already burned me twice. I don't want to see this
See?
third movie, but I
Yeah.
love the
Oh,
third.
And I
that
feel
third
like
movie was
that-
so good.
I'm
Like,
so
And I
happy
feel like I
somebody
got
else
some
is
beef,
saying it.
man. I feel like I got some beef for talking about Loki. Yeah,
Yeah, we got in trouble by our research department.
Research department.
With our Loki talk.
Anyway, my honorable mention. I thought, like, do you know what? I was like, there's so many good shows that come out this year already, but I thought, no, I could have flipped this and made it number one, but I thought, no, man, I've got to put something from the British Isles in there. So
There you go, represent.
yeah, represent, like, you know. So anyway, now what it was is every year for, like, I don't know, the past 7 or 8 years, I don't know how, I can't remember now. Everybody in the UK keeps going about Line of Duty, which is a British show, and it's a British police crime drama that comes out every year. And our TV shows tend to be sort of no more than like 6 to 8 episodes, which actually I think I prefer the shorter seasons. Like, I know Grey's Anatomy is like 20 plus episodes normally, and you do get loads of fillers. I actually prefer short seasons of most things. And so everybody every year is going about Line of Duty. I always see like my Facebook timeline like going on about it, because it's obviously because I keep thinking I'm behind, I can't be bothered. And then this year again, it was like everyone's Line of Duty, like I can't believe it, the ending. Oh god. And I was like, oh, do you know what? I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna do it. I was just like, fuck, do you know, I've got 6 seasons to do. And I thought they're only gonna be like, you know, 5 to 6 episodes a season. I thought I can do it. I thought I'd do it over a couple of months. Did I shit? Like, I honestly, I did it. I did 6 seasons over 2 weeks. It flipping killed me. Like, I know. You know, I just became so addicted to the show. I was just like, this is just it's so good.
Isn't that a good feeling, man, when the show pulls you in like that?
Honestly, I couldn't stop watching it. I was like, even one day, like Jasmin texted me going, like, cause I was texting her at like 3 a.m. or something, and she's like, "Why are you awake?" I went, "I'm watching Line of Duty." I'm watching Line of Duty. I was like, she's like, "Go to bed." I was like, I can't stop watching it. I was like, so
got
good.
a hold of me.
Like, it basically had like, and basically the whole premise, I haven't even talked about the premise. I've literally so it's a anti-corruption police force called AC-12, so anti-corruption. It basically follows 3 main policemen, and one of them is a kind of the undercover. She will go into a part of the police force that essentially there could be some corruption in, and pretty much there always is. And but yeah, so each season will essentially, what's really cool about it, each season kind of reinvents itself, because they introduce a whole load of new cast or keeping the 3 main cast. So they'll have a whole new part of the police force that they'll have to investigate, and they bring in, like, you know, they've got in some really good like celebrities throughout. You know, Tandy Newton was in the previous season. There's some loads of big names in there. Every time I put it on, I'm like, wow, you know, every time I was going into each season, I was like, wow, they got some really good cast in the show. Anyway, I've kind of talked about that way more than WandaVision. Maybe I should just flip them. So,
that was more than a
honorable mention.
Honorable
Yeah.
mention.
Yeah.
That should have just been just a
I
mention.
think we know what your real love is. It's all good. It's okay.
anyway, let's go. Let's move on to comics, man. Like, so Amir,
Okay.
what's your top comic of the year so far?
Killadelphia, man. Ever since I picked up the first issue, it pulled me in. I told Rodney Barnes, if he was my history teacher, I would have gotten all A's every year. He just makes history like so fun, you know. And so basically, I don't want to spoil it, but essentially, John Quincy Adams is like the godfather of vampires. And
Former President John Quincy Adams?
Yes.
Okay.
It's crazy, okay? And every vampire that's in this story is connected to him.
Wow.
And there's a father and son story in this. It's kind of like, he described it as like Sanford and Son meets what's the play that was on
Hamilton?
Yeah, meets Hamilton, meets Dracula.
Wow, what a matchup.
Yeah, it's amazing, man. And I think it's on like issue like 13 or 14 right now, but it's picking up steam. It's supposed to be a series coming out about it. And yeah, Killadelphia is amazing. It's amazing. It's with Image Comics. Rodney Barnes is the writer, and Jason Sean Alexander is the artist, and the artwork is amazing. Like, it's so scary. And just the dialogue in the story is great. The action that he has in there is amazing. But like I said, it's all tied to history, and even like it deals with stuff with like slavery and like former slaves and everything like that. It's crazy. It's crazy. So that's cool. That's
I might put that on my watch list because I love vampires, but I've never, other than like Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter, I haven't heard of anything like that.
This is not that. And it's in Philadelphia. So
cool.
I've not read it either. Yeah, we should maybe put that down our list or something like that.
I will say good luck finding the floppies.
I might have to just get a trade.
But the trades are there. I think it's like 2 volumes that are available right now in the trade paperback. But the floppies are pretty difficult to find.
And what about your honorable mention?
Bitterroot. More monster stuff.
Love it.
Chuck Brown, David F. Walker, Sanford Green, amazing team. I've met them a few times at New York Comic Con. I actually had Chuck Brown on the show a couple years ago when everything was kicking off with Bitterroot. But basically, family of monster hunters during the 1920s.
In Harlem.
In Harlem, yes. A lot of racism and just pain and anger going on in that story, but it's the way they show like the racism and the pain and anger as people turn into monsters. So the Sangare family, they have the cure for them. But
I thought that was a really interesting concept. That's what it manifested as. Yeah. Like they manifest into these like ridiculous monster type things.
Are you still?
It makes a lot of sense. I have volume 2. I haven't started it yet though.
Listen, volume 3.
Oh man.
Next level. There's more, like a lot of other things are turning into monsters.
Okay.
And,
all right.
With American history, it's deep. It's deep, but I love it. I love it.
I think that's probably one of the best things about it is that it takes that reality and blends it so seamlessly with this fantasy world. And that's, to me, that's why the buy-in is so easy with Bitterroot. Like as soon as you open it up and you get to the monster, like you understand exactly how that can happen. I mean, there's no like, let me just put myself in this frame of mind first. You're like, oh no, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah, it's the concept, man, is wild. But they did a great job with it. The artwork is amazing. Sanford Green is a beast. I have like some artwork from him that I paid a hell of a lot of Ciabatta for. but yeah, man, it's amazing. So yeah, that's nice. It's hard to put it as an honorable mention because I love it so much, but those are my 2 favorite.
Yeah, no, man. It's a bit like me with Line of Duty. Probably should have been a joint lead.
1A, 1B type of thing.
Yeah. Kay, tell us what your favorite comic of the year was so far, or has
mine
is so
is
far.
I think it's it's Milestone. Yeah, the Milestone issue. I think it's Returns, or is it? Yeah, Milestone Returns. So I'm a big Milestone guy. So I picked up a lot of those back issues of Static as well as Hardware, Icon. I'm deep on that stuff, man. Blood Syndicate. So seeing that come back was really dope, and just the way they wrote, everybody's story and reintroducing the characters. I thought they did it really well, and it was crazy because that comic was only like an online thing. I think like a digital at first.
Yeah.
So after reading it, I think we recorded an episode like that next week, and we just went crazy saying that this stuff needs to be printed. I started harassing, the writers of the new stuff. I was telling them, yo, you guys need to get that on paper, or they were like, it's coming. And I was like, no, like you got to do it now.
Yeah.
And now, I feel like we have a DC spy that kind of listens to our show, so we feel like we made that happen.
I agree.
All right, well, thank you. I appreciate that.
You're all very welcome.
Yeah, you're all very welcome. I still say that DC Comics owes me an edible arrangement.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
Yeah, that static issue was fire.
I've not read them yet.
Edible arrangement.
I only got them
today. We're still waiting on that.
Yeah.
I got them both today, but I've not had a chance to read them.
I feel like one day we're gonna be on the con floor, and somebody's just gonna walk up to us and they're gonna be like, "Hey, you guys always wanted to meet the DC spy. Well, I'm the DC spy." And then the guy just hands us an edible arrangement.
And then goes about his merry way.
Yeah, it just goes about his day, and then that's the fantasy. I want that to happen.
That's a life with the Ciabatta Boys.
I've not read Milestone.
I wish for that for you guys.
I've not read Milestone, but they both. Really? Static and Milestone came today, so I just haven't had time before the show. But
I'll tell you this: if you can, the greatest written comic to me is Hardware #1. Pick that up. And
like the original.
The original, yeah.
Yeah.
You've never read it?
No, I've never read a Milestone comic before.
I'll get your address after this. I have a lot of copies.
Oh, really?
Of #1.
20 copies.
Yeah, it was a Ciabatta thing. But
okay.
Since we're friends, I'll send it to you free of charge.
Okay, man. I flicked through Milestone Returns, and the artwork looks really good. I have to say, and the artwork looks good. I'm really excited to read it.
Yeah, I loved how it was just different teams just showcasing what's coming next, and I'm excited. Man. Like I said, we've done maybe of the 23 episodes, at least 15 of them mention Milestone. And
I think we even named the episode Return of Earth M.
Yeah, and then we also
we were pushing hard, man.
Yeah, and it's to the point that we did interview the creator of the Blood Syndicate as well, Ivan Velez. So,
wow.
Nice.
Yeah.
See, persistence is key, guys.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we just need that DC spy. That's what we're waiting for. Forget everything else. I'm still I'm still pushing for this edible arrangements. I like strawberries. I like watermelons. So they just make that. The edible arrangement.
Let's just make that happen.
Yeah, man. So, Kay, tell us, what was your honorable mention?
My honorable mention would have to be, it's an independent series. It's called Copra. So it is done by a good artist friend of mine, an artist and writer named Michel Fife. So he did a lot of he just recently did a Superman story in the new Red and Blue issue 3. He has a short story in there. And he also did the Ultimates for Marvel, and he's also done G.I. Joe and Bloodstrike and different things for Image as well. But he has his own independent series that he pens and draws himself, and mails out, and does everything himself. He even got picked up by Image for 6 issues, and he told them, I want to handle it from here on out, and he disregarded a deal. He had Todd McFarlane call him and everything.
Oh, wow.
Todd McFarlane. Yeah, the Todd father called him. I was like, come on, man, you're Image. You could save Image. And he's like, nah, I'm good. So it's just something that I've always been a fan of, picking it up on the independent side. And to me, it's the greatest comic, recently right now. And I don't think no comic has ever topped it. And in fact, Amir has the
yeah, he got me on it too.
Yeah, the trade right here.
More
I just googled it now.
More Ciabatta.
Yeah.
So what's the premise of it?
Basically, man, to me, to be honest, it's inspired by Suicide Squad, but the original Suicide Squad. So it's more or less like a bootleg of that, and that's how it kind of. A
dope one, though.
Yeah, but a really good one, really done well. I mean, I'll show you some pages. I'll just flip to a random one right here. Just this art style is just different. It's just, for a superhero comic, art like this is just so different. And it's just like the way it's done, you know, in different styles and different things, man. It's just the techniques and everything is just incredible here. I mean, these pages just, you know, they just speak to you.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's totally
art.
different than anything you'll pick up in the shop for sure.
Yeah, and I mean, the Image handles the trade paperbacks, so they should be readily available. I tell everybody that that's my recommendation.
It's on like what issue? What, like 40 something?
It's on 40 right now. 41's coming out soon. So, and like I said, he did before he got onto Image. He did, I think, 34 or 35 by himself. You know, on the independent side, and most independent comics don't last but more than 4 issues if you're lucky.
Right.
Yeah, if you're lucky.
Yeah.
So for him to get to 40 and 35, and he was doing it by himself, funding the money himself, funding it from sales of the book. Each time it just grew and grew. Like
shipping them out to people.
Yep, shipping them out to people. If you look up Copra #1 on eBay, you're not paying no less than 1,000 ciabattas for it.
Oh wow!
Oh my goodness!
Ciabatta. Yeah.
Wow.
It's got a big following already. Like I haven't read it. Like,
we're working on that one. We're gonna definitely get him on here.
Well, so Jasmin, what was your favorite comic of 2021 so far?
I kind of cheated because like I don't know that I would say the comic itself, but like I freaking love this character, Yara Flor. So she's been a lot of fun to read. I've enjoyed her. Plus, I am a huge Joel Jones fan. So the fact that Joel Jones is drawing and writing on this one, I love it. Yes, exactly. Showing the cover. So I enjoyed the 2 Future State books. I also liked the first like intro into the new Wonder Girl series. But mainly I want to know everything there is to know about Yara Flor. Like that's kind of at the point where I am now. Like this is really cool. Like some Brazilian like 19, 20-year-old that's just kind of like coming into her own right at the very beginning. Hell yeah, she's sassy, she's spunky, she has attitude. I like it, and she doesn't play by like the normal rules. And I think that's probably what drew me in so much in that first Future State book. It's like this chick is literally like fighting dinosaurs and like underworld characters and Cerberus and like all kinds of shit. Like this is awesome. Like this is badass. So I love the intro. That was one of those kind of cold intros that it was like, I don't know what the hell's going on in this book, but if she's gonna be sitting around fighting dinosaurs and Cerberus, like sign me up. I'm down for it.
I agree.
So Wonder Girl and Yara Flor have definitely kind of been my favorite so far. But as far as like solid series that I've been really digging, my honorable mention goes to Blade Runner Origins, which is written by a guy. Well, he's one of the lead writers on it, Mello Brown. He's a guy that I've been following for a while. He used to be on another podcast that I listened to, For All Nerds, and then he was a writer. Yeah, I'm actually wearing some of their gear. He was a writer at Stars for American Gods. But like this Blade Runner series kind of predates the film, so it's telling the story of how the Blade Runners came into existence in the first place. But what I love about it so much is that the main character is a Black dude, and what I love the most about the book is I love space stuff and I love futuristic stuff. I don't really know that I love cyberpunk, but I love like future stuff in general. But you hardly ever see Black people in the future. And so I love that we have this book where it's like, it's a Black guy. He's a detective. He's kind of trying to figure out the whole thing with the Tyrell Corporation and all of this stuff. So it's really interesting. I'm not going to spoil it so far. They've released 4 issues this year so far. And 4 issues is kind of like their first volume. But I've really, really, really been enjoying Blade Runner Origins, which you don't have to have read any of the previous series, but if you want to get into it, I think on Comixology right now, if you're into digital stuff, the previous Blade Runner comic series is available on Comixology Unlimited, so you can read a lot of that for free if you have that subscription.
I mean, we got some Black people in the future on Black Panther.
Well, yeah, but like that's
I'm just
not the like sci-fi future that I'm talking about. Like to me, Wakanda is very like today versus the Blade Runner stuff is like 100 years from now, maybe.
Right.
So
I have not read the Blade Runner, but we did have Mellow Brown come on our podcast a couple of months ago. He did a review of us on Akira Volume 1, and he was a really cool dude. So like, go check that out. But we should have him back again one day. But in regards to Wonder Girl, though, I loved the Future State. In fact, I loved the whole concept of Future State.
Yeah.
I loved, to be honest, the 2 Batman books were like my favorites there. But anyway, actually, nice segue there into my favorite.
There you go.
Nice segue into my favorite book of the year. So I kind of bring in both my favorite book of the year and my honorable mention are in the same corner of the universe. So my favorite book of the year so far is Batman. I know I talk about Batman a lot, but I am really enjoying Tinian's run on Batman. I think it's been an amazing run. In fact, I haven't been a big fan of the backups. The Superman books, the backups, I don't even read them. Like I just think they're awful. But the Batman books are like, even in Detective, I've been loving the backups in Detective as well. Like,
Yeah.
but in Batman, I'm loving this new character, Ghostmaker. I'm absolutely loving Ghostmaker. And every issue he's pretty much introducing, like the Molly character. I've loved the fact that Tinian has completely sort of reinvented the entire sort of Batman ethos. Like, I know he came in with Alfred, like with Alfred gone. I know he came in with that, and he kind of had to do a rebuild. But I like what he's done is he's kind of brought Bruce Wayne as a more grounded superhero. Yeah. I know he's not poor by any means. He's just not got super wealth anymore. And I love the fact that he's now not in the mansion and he's just living in a house, like a brownstone. And I love the fact that we've got Barbara Gordon has kind of taken on the Alfred mantle, and she's back as Oracle. And I love that most of the cast as well is just like, you've got Harley Quinn, Ghostmaker, and then you've got this Molly girl. And I just think it's just a really cool book. And the artwork, though, honestly, by Jimenez, his Scarecrow is so good.
Yeah, it's crazy, honestly, right?
I think people are going to be talking about this run for a long time. It's done so well. And the backups with Ghostmaker as well, just seeing him like on that island, kicking ass and all that kind of thing. And, he's really good in the main story, but just seeing the backups as well. I'm really loving Batman. I've got to say, if you're not read Batman, literally just pick it up. Don't worry about anything before Tinian.
You don't have to do Tom King.
No. I mean, Tom King. If you need to sleep, go and pick up Tom King's issues.
Wow.
If you're having a bad day and you want to make it worse, go pick up a Tom King Batman.
I held so much hope for that. I was like, it's going to get better.
I know, that's what I kept doing the same thing. I was like, it's going to pay off. It's going to pay off. And
by issue 85, I'm like, please get him away from this book.
The moment Tinian came on, it was like a breath of fresh air. Honestly.
Yeah.
Right. So jumping over to my honorable mention, I haven't read. So my honorable mention is Nightwing. Okay. I haven't read a Nightwing book in a long time. I remember reading all the original run, and when he was in Bloodhaven and all that kind of stuff, and seeing him become a policeman, all that and everything. I loved that whole run. And then when they did that one year later thing, and they made a jump, and then he was suddenly not in Bloodhaven anymore, and he was in New York, and then it wasn't him, it was Jason Todd, and I was like, I just dropped it. I couldn't be bothered. Yeah. And I haven't gone back to Nightwing for years. And then when the new Infinite Frontier thing happened, I didn't pick up Nightwing initially. I had 2 issues had come out, and then I was hearing everybody going nuts about it, and like literally the first book was like going for 10-20 quid, and I was like, what is going on? I was like, people don't talk about Nightwing, like, So anyway, I managed to track them down, and I even issue 81 is suddenly like fire on eBay already, and luckily I managed to get cover B for cover. I forgot to grab it, but honestly, I'm loving what Tom Taylor's doing. For me, it doesn't feel like I haven't read Nightwing for 10 or 15 years. It feels like I've gone, and because he's really respecting Nightwing's like history. And even if you've never read a Nightwing book before, he's kind of just allowing people to pick up this story as if it's brand new to them. He's filling in the gaps, like, and he's kind of playing it in a way in which, if you are a massive Nightwing fan, you know he's respecting it. But if you've never read Nightwing before, he's just catching you up on what's going on, and he's kind of setting Blockbuster up as a really like Kingpin level villain. Like even when I looked at Blockbuster in this latest issue, I was like, man, that guy just looks like Kingpin. Like, but I do love the twist at the end. Have you guys read this week's issue of Nightwing? Or
I do not read Nightwing, but I talked to James about it. He does read it, so I let him spoil it for me. So I know what happened.
Oh, okay.
I know who got introduced.
Yeah. So I won't spoil it, but Nightwing gets a new family member. So, but no, I thought it was a good twist, and I can see why like it's gone up like going crazy on eBay and stuff like that. But honestly, but also, sorry, I didn't even mention the artwork in Nightwing is fucking fire as well.
Nice.
So that kind of brings our comic section to a close, and we're going to talk about what our top movies are of 2021 so far. And I'm going to jump straight back to Amir. Hit me up with what's your top movie, man?
My top one is Michael B. Jordan Without Remorse. I loved it.
I watched that last weekend, by the way.
Yeah, so man. Good. It just felt like that old school action, like everybody's getting shot. Yeah. Like we're running through the jungle. We're doing everything.
Yeah.
And it kind of gave you like just a breath of fresh air away from like the Marvel stuff.
Yeah.
You know, like Marvel can kind of cover every genre. You know what I'm saying? Like as far as like action, drama, and all that stuff, they can do it all. So it was just cool to see an action movie that was that good, that was not a part of Marvel, even though the actor has been tied to Marvel, but or MCU. But I love it. I love the twist at the end. Because at first I'm like, yo, we didn't come this far just to come on, yo. I'm not gonna spoil it, but if you see it, you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, it's a dope movie, man. Amazon, that was with Amazon Prime, right? Yeah. So they did their thing with that. So Michael B. Jordan, he killed it, man. I enjoyed that. And honorable mention, I actually changed it.
Oh, okay.
I just changed it because I thought about it recently. The United States versus Billie Holiday. That was an incredible movie. I love like the music biopics like that and things like that. But her whole story is crazy. And what that woman had to go through just to be able to perform or sing songs, like Strange Fruit. And yeah, it was just amazing, man. And even like the love story that was tied to it. I can't even lie, man. My girlfriend already knows I'm a softie. So I got a little choked up watching that movie, man. And it was so real. And I can't remember the actress's name. I'm terrible with names, but she killed it, man.
Audra Day.
Yes. Amazing job. So yeah, that's kind of like the soundtracks part for me, as far as like paperbacks and soundtracks go.
All right.
It was amazing. It was an amazing movie.
What about you, Kay? What was your favorite movie of the year so far?
My favorite movie of the year so far. I'm gonna go with In the Heights. Yeah, I like In the Heights a lot. It's a musical that just recently came out on HBO Max. With Lin-Manuel Miranda. It's just a beautiful story. It's actually based off of a Broadway play. I'm just, I love seeing movies with hip hop in it, especially, done very well. Yeah. And, I'm just a fan of the story.
Do you bump the soundtrack movie occasionally?
Yeah, I do. Yeah,
he actually talked about it this week.
Yeah, I talked about it this week. Yeah. I mean, the movie just came out recently on HBO Max, but I got an early sneak peek of it back in April.
Nice.
Yeah.
Dope movie. That was actually my honorable mention, but I figured I could switch it. I could
shake it up
a little bit.
Yeah. and then as far as my honorable mention is concerned, Mortal Kombat.
Hell yeah!
I was waiting for that. with all these, with the Marvel movies coming out, I was saying it a while back that I was like, damn, this would be the perfect time to have a Mortal Kombat movie. And then, again, somebody's tapped into my phone, tapped into my brain somehow, and they just heard me say it, or somebody heard me say it on like a train or something, and they're like, $1 million idea, let's do that. And
it's DC Spy, man.
Man, DC
he working
Spy,
for everybody.
Yeah,
man. I need another edible arrangement. That's 2.
He's racking them up. We didn't even talk about Black Batman.
Oh yeah, the Black Batman idea I came up with too. On a very old episode of Paperbacks.
Was that the first interview?
Nah, that was like
the
second one.
Okay, yeah, that was a long time ago.
Yeah, where I said, which I did like stupidly, man. Where I was like, oh man, I was like, if I could write a Batman story, I was like, I want to make a Black Batman, because I felt that Bruce Wayne was an awesome black guy name. So I thought Bruce Lee Wayne would have been an awesome.
Bruce Lee Wayne.
I don't know. But yeah, somebody heard that. They were just like, yeah.
Speaking of names, like the first time I heard, when I used to watch NCIS, the first time I ever heard Gibbs's first name, it was like Jethro. Wait, isn't it Leroy Jethro Gibbs? I was like, I have never in my life met a white Leroy. Like, what the hell is this?
Oh, man.
That is amazing.
No, I think that's what I think that was it. No, it wasn't Bruce Leroy Wayne. It was definitely like Bruce Lee Wayne or something like that.
Bruce Lee Wayne. That's hilarious too.
Yeah.
And
well,
Jasmin,
Mortal Kombat was my top movie of the year. I haven't seen very many, to be fair, but Mortal Kombat has been one of my favorite movies since 1992.
Yeah, a lot. Yeah. You like the old ones too?
Oh well, no, I don't like Annihilation, not at all. But the first movie, I love the first movie.
I love them both. Like they were my children.
No, man, I can't give you Annihilation. I can't get with it.
No, I loved Annihilation though. They gave me Cyrax. They gave me Ermac. They gave me Smoke, Rain. Oh my God. I could go on and on.
They did it so poorly. Like they gave you a.
I mean, the movie came out in what, like 97? Come on,
Yeah.
CGI was new technology then. You gotta give
Yeah,
them
well,
grace.
but the first movie to me, like the first movie, oh man,
It was
I
superior,
literally
it was
had
supreme.
Mortal Kombat as the theme song or like as my ringtone for probably about 10 years now. Every phone I get, I re-download like the Mortal Kombat, so that's my ringtone.
Ever since Netflix came out, that's always a binge for me. I watch it, like I don't care. That's like Billy Madison to me. I could quote the whole movie. Just like that with Mortal Kombat.
So I loved the update. I love the updated CGI. Hiroyuki Sanada is probably one of my favorite actors. Anyway, I've loved him since what was it, Rush Hour 3?
Was that?
So it's been
I just know people hated it. People hated the story, and I was like, dude, it's a video game movie that had no
people
story.
are stupid. Okay, that's the problem there. People are stupid.
That was the thing. I was like, dude, it's a video game like that had no story. You literally fought people.
Yeah. I mean, I thought they did really well with what they had. I love Louis Tan. I would like to have seen more from that character. The only thing I was kind of disappointed in was I wish Goro had a bigger presence. I was really bummed that there was no Johnny Cage. I guess they got to leave room for him in the sequel, obviously. But
I did ask about that.
I thought it was funny with Jax because I thought that was Keenan Ivory Wayne's at first. I was like, oh, they got Keenan Ivory Wayne's.
Like that would be Keenan Ivory Wayne's son at this point. Come on,
right? I was like, he is not that Jack, bro.
This ain't low down dirty shame.
Yeah, but the way he looked, it was because that. Amir had showed me like a screenshot like early. I was like, yo, they got Keenan Ivory Wayne's playing Jack.
Yeah, I wish that would have been awesome. But I think McCann Brooks did a good job. I've liked him since True Blood when he was Eggs. Mortal Kombat. I've always been a fan. Scorpion. I've always loved Scorpion. I could only ever beat the game as Sonya, which really pissed me off because she was like my least favorite character.
The only one that I was ever not able to beat was number 2. supremely hard.
I can't remember if I played 2. I remember we used to play, me and my cousins, on Super NES, and we would flip back and forth between Street Fighter 2 and Mortal Kombat. So those were like the 2 games that we played until basically our Super NES died.
Oh wow!
But yeah, Mortal Kombat is just like super nostalgic for me.
I guess from blowing on the games too much.
Oh, it worked. I don't give a shit what anyone says. Like, it worked. Like, whenever your cartridge would start to freeze, you pop that bitch out, blow in it, put it back in there, and it worked just fine. Like, it was a miracle.
Yeah,
okay. So
I remember that I went to like a Funko Land, and I was trying to sell a bunch of games, and the guy put one in, and it didn't work. And I was like, "Give it to me," and I just blew on it. He's like, "Dude, I can't sell a game that you have to blow on to make it work." And I was like, "Bro, it works.
It works. Like it's the magic of the Super NES. Okay, like I don't care what anyone else says.
Something about human saliva that made those games work.
Let's do the same thing. When I had we called it a Mega Drive over here. Well, it was called a Mega Drive over here. You guys called it the Sega Genesis. Like,
that's
like
my favorite system.
When Sega released it over here, they called it the Mega Drive. And I used to do the same thing: get the cartridge out, blow in it, like it was
and
all
put it
good.
back, and it works.
Yeah, it's pre-COVID times.
Yeah. Sega Genesis is my favorite gaming system, specifically just for Streets of Rage.
Oh, I used to love Streets of Rage. We're going off now. Anyway, go on, Jasmin. What's your no? What's your honorable mention?
Honorable mention by default. Again, I did not watch very many films this year, so honorable mention would be the Snyder Cut. I just appreciated.
Oh my god.
His eye for Wonder Woman much better than Joss Whedon's eye for Wonder Woman.
That 4 hours was a killer.
Oh yeah, no, 4 hours is fucking ridiculous. That you cannot.
I just thought the endings were ridiculous too.
Oh yeah,
I hated the endings.
Yeah. The future stuff. Me and Jasmin didn't like the future stuff, but we liked it
we didn't need
the
that
future stuff
at all.
Up until the point, like if he had not done the silly future stuff, we loved that film. Like,
I love Cyborg. I love Cyborg.
Oh, yeah.
Storyline in it.
I just think Martian
so
Manhunter was just like, I just didn't understand Martian Manhunter. He was kind of like the Eternals. He's like, I see everything. I've seen everything. And, I just stood back and watched stuff.
I mean, I don't know. I've always liked. There was a Superman film that came out last year that we watched. It was
the animated one. Yeah,
I can't remember what it was called, but Martian Manhunter had a big role in that one, and I thought that was done really well. And I really wish DC Animation and DC EU would actually fucking talk to each other, because DC Animation had the formula down.
It wasn't Red Sun, was it?
Was
it Red Sun?
No, I don't think it was.
Oh, okay. Or the Reign of Superman. Those were both pretty dope.
It was one of our first episodes, wasn't it?
It was early.
You don't have to go back. You don't have to go back and think about.
But that's the thing, like DC, like I feel
all
like
the
DC animation, like they had the formula long before Marvel, the MCU ever even was an afterthought, right? Like, why doesn't one hand talk to the other hand? I will never understand what DC is doing when you have all of these people that are successful, and then you're just like, let's do this, and people are like, yeah, sure.
Oh, it was called Superman: Man of Tomorrow. Came out last year.
Oh, okay, yeah, that was good too.
Yeah, that one was good. No, so anyway, but 4 hours too long for a movie. Just like
watched it in 2 segments.
With Army of the Dead, 2
hours,
2.5 hours was too long. Like, you can't. That's too much.
Yeah, I kind of got
save it for the director's cut, DVD, whatever. But if you cannot tell a concise story in less than 4 hours, then you really shouldn't.
But let's be honest. If it had been released in theaters, it wouldn't. If it had been released in theaters, it wouldn't have been 4 hours.
It couldn't have been 4 hours.
No. They only let him have 4 hours because they knew it was going on demand. They didn't. They said, look, fucking enjoy yourself. Take your time, whatever. He probably would have made a 10-hour movie if he wanted to. But I think if it had been in theaters, what we've had is kind of what would have been the DVD. But he was given the creative freedom to do what he wanted this time around. I enjoyed that 4-hour movie. I didn't like the future stuff. I honestly there was no need for that. Or what I'd rather they'd have done, because the film went straight into the future stuff. I'd rather they'd have done the titles and shoved the future stuff at the end. And I know that might sound weird, but I'd rather they'd have put a break between it. So then that way, if I wanted to, I could kind of ignore that future stuff. Because it went straight into it, I was just like, why did they do that?
Whole Joker.
I know.
Yeah,
I hate Jared Leto's Joker. I don't enjoy Jared Leto as an actor, but his Joker is horrendous. So,
I agree. Joker is trash.
My favorite movie of this year, I'll be honest, I struggled with this. I almost went without remorse, and then when I saw you were going to put that down, I was like, "Nah, you've covered it." I actually went with the other. I went with the other favorite of mine, which was family-friendly Cruella on Disney Plus.
Okay.
And I loved that film. Honestly, I thought
it
was so good. It was. Do you know what though? Find me a bad Emma Stone film. Emma Stone is a really good actress. I've loved everything she's ever done.
The Amazing Spider-Man, wasn't she in that one?
Yeah, but she was good in it. She was good in it. The films may have been terrible, but Emma Stone was good in it. Emma Stone has never, for me, done a bad role. I've not seen every single thing she's been in, but she was so good in Cruella. Seeing her grow and almost seeing the difference between, so she kind of had a dual role in the film, and seeing her flip and seeing the kind of the growth, the growing into the villain, but actually seeing how that came about wasn't, because I just want to be a villain. There actually was.
How much were they charging for that over there?
Like
$30.
Yeah, I think it's like 20 quid or something like that. But for a family to sit in front of it, it's cheaper than going to the cinema. So but no, we really enjoyed it, and I think Emma Stone did a really good job. And there's already talk of a sequel. I'd be on board with that. I think she did it really well, and she makes a little joke at the end about turning Dalmatians into coats, and but then she's like, "I'm only joking," and I thought that was done because of the obviously the cartoon. But no, it was good. It was a good film. It was a really enjoyable family film. But I actually would say I watched it with actually my parents were here, and my parents and my wife and everything. Adults really enjoyed it too. So it was a good sort of movie to watch. I actually put my honorable mention as Army of the Dead. I love that film. I'm like, I do get it was a bit. I do get it was a little bit too long. I probably would have shaved 15-20 minutes off of it.
Yeah.
But I loved how batshit crazy it was.
It was extremely insane.
It was an insane movie, and I would like to have seen this on the big screen rather than on my TV.
You know what? Maybe that might have helped it for me.
I think there are some films though that if with the big screen, the audio are completely different when you're at home. So I don't tend to go to the cinema to see comedies. I'm happy to watch, or dramas. I'm happy to watch those at home. But anything big blockbuster type stuff, I want to watch on a big screen. This kind of film, I think would have been so good on the big screen. Yeah. I did think it was just nuts. Every sort of moment, it was just insane. And those zombies, man, I
can't stand. I hate fast zombies. I prefer fast zombies. Make me feel like I have no hope of surviving the zombie apocalypse.
Honestly, there was moments though that I was proper on edge though. When they went into sort of the king zombies' home and the girls were in that room, and I was like, man, this is fucking scaring the shit out of me. I was just I just thought, how can these people do this? How can they actually? This isn't like you say, like I said earlier, Walking Dead zombies. These are zombies with fucking intelligence, there's, and that's something as well that was quite unique. But I enjoyed this movie. Honestly, I think it's a really insane movie, and I love the fact that it was a heist movie with a zombie backdrop.
Yeah, it had a different twist.
I thought, what a good twist, and what a good, to come up with heist movies have been done to death, and I enjoy a lot of heist movies, like The Score and stuff like that, and I always love a good twist. But actually, to do a heist movie where the the villains are the zombies, I was like, that is cool. That is a cool thing. And then
I thought that movie used music really well.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
But do you think we're gonna ever get tired of zombie movies?
I don't watch all zombie movies. I'm not a massive zombie fan or anything. I haven't watched any classics that people go on about. But I wanted to watch this. I thought the trailer looked good. I'm terrible on names. What's the guy, the lead? like
Dave Bautista.
Yeah. I love Bautista from Guardians of the Galaxy. I think and I've seen him in a couple other movies. I saw him where he's where he was sort of a nanny / secret agent. And I thought he did that really well. I think he does comedy really well. So I was like, he handled Army of the Dead, I think, very well. I was disappointed with how his character goes out at the end. I won't say too much, but but no, I to be honest, I enjoyed this movie. I would love to have seen it on the big screen. If they re-release this on the big screen, I'd probably go and see this.
I agree. It probably would have been a different experience if I didn't have have the option to pause and walk away for a little while.
I usually will binge. Like, I have no problem sitting on the sofa binging a TV show for like 8 hours straight, but like I got halfway through this movie and when I paused it, I was like, oh my god, I have an hour left and I haven't even got to the climax yet. Like, what the hell?
I agree.
It's too long.
I thought I'd put you two guys on the spot here, like, as it's the soundtracks. Like, do you guys have a favorite album of the year? Me and Jasmin are not music people. Like, I mean, we like music, but we don't really keep up with it. But you guys do keep up with it. Do you have a favorite album this year, or a favorite artist?
Let me look.
Do we need to come back in an hour?
No. I can tell you off the top of my head right now, I'm really loving Children of Zeus. They put out like an EP called Balance. It's a perfect blend, R&B, hip hop, just beautiful. And I think they're from London, right? They're from London. They're pretty dope, man. So Children of Zeus is a good one, and I was listening to her. She put out a new album there, so it's called Back on My Mind, and that's just smooth. She's a beast. So that's where I'm at right now. So I would say Children of Zeus. They captured my brain when I listened to them. So they're at the top.
I'm gonna have to go with Czarface and MF Doom's album called Super What. So it's kind of fuses my two favorite things, hip hop and comic books.
Oh man.
So
awesome.
Czarface is like it's a duo group. It's a Inspector Deck of Wu-Tang and Esoteric of 7L and Esoteric. And 7L is also the producer. But I think that's my favorite album of the year so far, if I had to pick one. MF Doom passed away last October, but we didn't find out till New Year's Eve. So this was the first of his posthumous releases that are coming, sometime soon, hopefully.
I'll make sure to check that out.
I've been bumping that Migos too. That Culture 3 is something.
So as we sort of bring the show to close, just want to thank you both for jumping on and celebrating our 1 year Podiversary.
Thank you so much.
Man.
Congratulations.
Thank you, man. Thank you, guys. But for everyone listening though, where can people find Paperbacks and Soundtracks?
Instagram is probably the best place to find us. Paperbacks and Soundtracks on Instagram. And like we've been promoting the email. So, if you got any comics, any music, you want us to review or read or anything like that, you can hit us up on paperbacks@gmail.com.
Yep. And you could listen to our podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Audible, and we have episodes on YouTube as well.
You're getting so good at that, Kay.
I'm trying, man. I'm trying.
You're so good at that. I love it, man. That was like one of the things he was like, I gotta get.
Yeah, but one question I have: how did you guys get onto us?
I can't remember how I found it. I just I was just on one of the apps, and I think I honestly can't remember now. I was just on one of the podcast apps, and I must have been typing in like comic book podcasts or something like that, and I just found it, and I was like, I think that's what I was doing. I was looking up just a couple of different podcasts, probably about 8 months ago, and just thought to myself, trying to learn from what others are doing and trying to hear other people's, and Like not obviously just nicking ideas, obviously, and not doing that.
No, I
understand. But just hearing what other people were doing, but also like since doing this, we've kind of me and Jasmin have been networking with other people, and actually like when you go into this, you kind of a little bit think, well, are podcast people going to be rivals or are they going to form relationships? And I'll be honest, some of the bigger podcasts that have been going 20 plus years. I've tried to speak to them here and there, and they're just not interested. They're just not interested because they've got their 20,000 downloads an episode and all that. And I think we're just small fry. But I'm finding that people that are like us that have been going a couple of years, everyone's actually very friendly. And I'm finding a lot of the podcasts that are in the same boat, going a couple of years are very chit chatty and happy to jump on each other's podcasts. And like I keep seeing the hashtag grow together. And anyway, like. There's a lot of YouTubers do the same thing. They kind of like jump on each other's YouTube channels and like pump each other up. And I started to think to myself, I said to Jasmin, we should do the same thing with podcasts, I see it. So we've kind of like Jasmin guested on the Good Guys, Good Guy Game podcast a couple of weeks ago. And in a couple of weeks, we're jumping on someone else's. And actually it is just supporting each other. And anyway, when I found your podcast, I sort of listened to an episode and I shouted out to Jasmin. I said, I found these guys the other day on the podcast app. And I was like, I really like their podcast. I really enjoy I kept saying to her, it just feels like I'm listening to a radio show. So I was, I liked the style of it. And
appreciate that.
It was one of the things I thought.
A lot of editing hours.
Well, one of the things I thought was
to get it to sound like that.
No, man. One of the things I thought was really unique was that you do add a little bit of music between each segment. I thought that was pretty cool. So,
that's actually the music is my cousin. He has a group called Fog Mob. So whenever you hear me say, Fog Mob music, like they're the ones that produce all the music for us. He's always sending me music, 2 or 3 times a week, and we just throw it up on the show.
No, it's it's really professional. I enjoy listening, and I said to Jasmin, we should definitely do something with these guys. And so I just found you guys literally just by going on the app and the podcast app and just typing it in, and just found you guys. And so I just recommend anyone listening just pick up and listen to Paperbacks and Soundtracks. So
appreciate that,
man.
Our next
we promoted
episode,
you guys on ours, so.
Awesome,
I've seen that. We've been promoting each other. So that's what I mean. Grow together.
Yep.
So, but again, cheers, guys.
One world, one people.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. One love.
I feel like Michael Jackson. I feel like Michael Jackson's gonna start singing.
She got the raw end of the stick, man. I'm just saying. Like, Carly, why they gotta do my girl Carly like that? I don't know.
She had a great message.
So next episode we'll be returning more to normal, as we'll just be reviewing the Netflix anime TV series Treze season 1 on Netflix.
And don't forget, we did start a second podcast series where we tackle some of the most essential graphic novels of all time. Our 7th Late to the Party book club episode was They Called Us Enemy by George Takei, Justin Eisinger, and Steve Scott. The art was by Harmony Becker. That episode dropped at the end of May, and we're taking June off, but we will be back in July when we'll be covering The Killing Joke. So tune in.
And looking forward to that. Well, you can follow us on social media with Geeks Unleashed everywhere, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter.
And you can get this podcast wherever you get your podcasts. Google, Apple, Spotify, Podbean. We are everywhere. So give us a 5-star review and tell your geeky friends.
And do the same with Paperbacks and Soundtracks.
Yes.
Follow them everywhere. Smash those subscribe buttons. Give them 5 stars.
Poke your thumb through your phone. Break your phone.
All that.
Do all that.
Smash your phone.
But just make sure you listen before you do that.
Yeah, exactly.
Listen to your phone.
Leave a 5-star review.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you very much, guys. Have a good week.
All right.
You too, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.